ladies and gentlemen, the New Zealand team and the Australian team are going to walk the course and we'll go out for the coin toss. So we'll just turn the audio off and while they have their discussions and be out there for the coin toss in about 5 minutes.
Okay, so the New Zealand and Australian teams are currently out walking the course. We'll be getting underway at about 3 o'clock is the aim today. Once they've walked the course, we will be doing the national anthems of both countries and then we will do the coin toss. Commentary for the Wayleggo first test today will be brought to you by Mr. Simon Leaning from Western Australia and myself, Simone Cross from South Australia. So we're hoping to bring you guys along for the journey as we battle out this first test today. I can let you know what the running order is today for the teams. So Australia, they are going to be led out by Grant Cook with Pendelup Gilbert. Their second worker will be Dave Lacey with Brands Hutch Tusker. Then Anthony Island with Oak Downs Banjo. And then Jim O'Connell will lead us home with Kamara Blackmore. For New Zealand, they're sending their captain out first, Mark Copeland working Don. Second out will be Scott Hunter with Lucy. Third out will be Ben Miller with King. And then Lloyd Smith will bring them home with Guide. The two judges, the Australian is Mr. Bernard McGlashan from Tasmania. And the judge for New Zealand is Pat Coogan. So the same as the Ted Gabe Interstate Challenge, both judges will put their scores in and there will be an aggregate. The winner of the test will be the combined score for all of them together. So the boys shouldn't be out here long. We're wanting to get away by 3 o'clock, so we've given them a bit of a hurry up. So hopefully we won't be too much longer and we'll have the live action here at the Dog Pro Supreme Australian Championship at Stanthorpe in Queensland. Okay, so both teams have now walked the course, and we'll now do the national anthems and the coin toss. So if all team members can please stay out on the field. I've got a coin just in case. Jim's got one. Stay on the field. Sorry? Need my dog. Need your dog? To do the coin toss?
No, well, the national anthem. Anyways, she's coming. All good. Where are we going to do the coin toss?
Doing the national anthem first, Jim, and then the coin toss? Yeah. Yeah. National anthem first. Do you want to go behind near your flags?
Flag, yes.
Sorry, we're just getting the teams ready. If the team members can all please line up, we'll do the national anthems, please. For anyone that's able, if you can please be upstanding for the national anthems of both Australia and New Zealand.
Where do you want to be over there, do you? Over there?
No, over this flags first.
That's a microphone on. There you go.
Both teams are now lined up. We'll now play the national anthems. Thanks everyone, that's the national anthems played. The captains will now do the toss and we'll work out who's going into battle first.
We'll go second.
Australia have won the toss and they've elected to go in second. So New Zealand will be out first. Their first worker will be Mark Copeland, working Don. All up here.
We're going to redo that knot, and we're going to do a fucking side like that.
We've got Mr. Pat Coogan here. We'll just get a word from Pat before the test starts. You're ready to go?
Absolutely, we've waited quite a while for this, so it'll be a great day, and hope the sheep play the ball, and we can get on with it.
Absolutely, thanks Pat. I might just grab Bernard as he goes past as well. Bernard? We'll just grab a quick word from our judge. Any words of wisdom, Bernard?
No, best to both teams, and I hope the sheep play their part and we see a good exhibition of dog trotting.
All good, thanks Bernard. All the best.
Cheers.
I'll catch Mark Copeland in a moment as he comes out, and we'll be ready to go in a moment. So the first competitor out in this first test is Mr. Mark Copeland with Don. I'll just grab a quick word from Mark as he comes past. Wealth of experience with you, Mark. All the best out there today.
Thanks, Simone. You're always most welcoming, aren't you?
We try to be. All the best, mate.
Thank you very much.
Simon, could you go? Can we take it out? We'll just be a minute while we take. The Australian judge is going to run the outside, and Mr. Pat Coogan, the New Zealand judge, is going to walk the inside of the course. So the buggy's not required, we're just going to remove it, so it won't be long.
This is New Zealand. Mark Copeland with Don stepping into the handler's post. First look at our Trans-Tasman course for the Dog Pro Supreme Sheepdog Championships. Judge is happy he's asked for the sheep. Three little ewes just trotting out, nicely set. Let's see what Don can do with these three. So away he goes out to the right hand side. Australian part of the course. Cast, lift and draw round the winding peg, and then off on a carry to that first obstacle, the gap. Beautiful deep cast, pulled up nice. Such an important part of the trial, this introduction. Just tippy-toeing forward, and we'll see what these sheep do now as the lift starts. It's pretty steady. Once again, they're already leaning down that hill. So we'll just talk. So this first three sheep just rolling around as Don tries hard to get in touch with them. He's just got an individual there that wants to be on its own. Another one having a bit of a nibble. So far, not too much trouble. It's looking pretty tidy. Little trot on now. Wanting to go back home. Don's got to cover that sheep. Don't let him get away. I think that's your troubled sheep already, shown its head. Doesn't really care to be there with the others. Lagging a bit behind. Got a mind of its own. And Don's aware of it. You can see him just checking in. But he looks like he's got two lots to work instead of the three group as a group. Straight away he's reared his ugly head, that horrible sheep. So Don's got his work cut out here just to pull it into line, get it to pay attention to him. You can see the challenge. He's got to cover it, he's got to hold it, he's got to break it. The other two look okay. But this is a challenge, and away he goes. Hasn't got that first winding peg completed, and sheep's had a breakaway. He's still not finished. Got a bit of a wobble in his head. Here he goes around that post. Away they go. Heading down that corridor. So Don's managed to get those three sheep around the winding peg. Done a nice job. He's got one there that's giving him a little bit of trouble. There he goes, having a run. Don's just hanging on for dear life here, because that sheep doesn't look like it's come to play. kept them on course, doing well. Very, very experienced trialer out there with Mark. As he approaches that first obstacle, Don's just keeping that leader tucked in. He's not that interested in the other two. It's just that one sheep that just seems to be a bit independent. He's got him in good position. Coming to that first set. Bend them around, points them in the right direction, and through they go, straight through. Don's out there to catch them before they get too far away. Into the drive. Mark taking up the left-hand side of the course. And the pressure is now keeping him off that fence, keeping him away from that dog pro sign. Keeping him ticking along. It's just pretty heavy on the dog. Up to the top of the ground. Sheep having a bit of a snack. And that single sheep seems to have settled in a little bit. Mark's holding his side up now. As they head towards that Maltese cross. Lining them up now. Into that free working area and away they go. What can he do? Can he roll that one through? He's been troubled the whole way around that sheep. Lines them up. Beautifully done. So the first part of the cross completed. Swings them around and away they go. Catch them, Don, if you can. This section is the New Zealand section, the drive, including the Maltese cross. And the drive will continue down into that bridge area. And the handler can help. And then it goes back to the Australian part of the course. They've got to carry them on their right-hand side. So just the second part of that cross to complete. The sheep are still a bit touchy. He's got a looker, one through, two, see if that last one will go in. Heading in the right direction, really nicely done. Little breakaway as they come out. And once again, that draw down to the middle. And away they go. So these are the sheep that were used in the Interstate Challenge. So they're the same sheep that have been used on this course. Not the wethers that have been running around in the Supreme Championship. And they're behaving just a little bit differently, but not running as much, but certainly taking some points. And Mark stepped into that free working area now. He's got the bridge to complete. And Don, tongue's hanging out. He's feeling that warm weather, a bit different to New Zealand. See what he can do here. It's got them well placed. One sheep just grazing away. What little pops up? Don's on the job. Pops up again. Oh, goodness. It's a testing time. There's pressure on. That sheep just seems to spring to life. Just tucked his head down the side. Hasn't gone yet. They're a little bit hungry and they're a little bit unsettled still. Just can't seem to get them to walk. He just gets them to pop up and just have a little gallop and then settle again, and that's really difficult. You want their heads looking where you want them to go. Here we go, pointing them in the right direction this time. The bridge has proven to be a tough obstacle even in the Supreme, so not much has changed. They're right there. There they go, up and over the bridge. Well, that took a bit of work, but gee, it was nice work when it was done. And away they go, heading to the pen. Mark Copeland, first competitor for New Zealand, out there with Don. Heading to the pen, and the sheep have just had a little run, and that same sheep just really hasn't given up all trial, has he? She. It's a you. He's got him sitting nicely, heading towards the pen. Don just putting the block on. Heads down. Just try and get them to inch once, going for a run. And around the side. So they're just grazing away, and then the heads pop up. And when they run, they can run a fair few metres. And they're right off course at the moment, so Don's got some work to do. Time becomes an issue. Still enough time, but he needs everything to go right. Here they come. Heading towards that gate opening. Still grazing, don't go around. Mark put the block on. Pulls them up. Nice and wide. On the right. Oh, gee. They're right there. Get that gate shut. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Copeland with Don from New Zealand getting the gate shut.
I've got to get you, Grant, hang on. Yeah. Just up a little bit further.
Where do you want me to be?
Yeah. Okay, so first competitor out for Australia will be Grant Cook with Gilbert. Fill you with some confidence, mate.
It's great to be back here, Simone. I'm looking forward to the contest. New Zealand always bring their true sense of competitiveness to the ground, and we'll present the same. Thanks.
I'm sure you will, and all the best, Grant.
Thank you.
So Grant Cook from Australia is up next with his dog Pendelup Gilbert. Good luck.
Good on you.
So Grant Cook taking his position. Gilbert, the yellow or golden border collie. 3 fresh sheep. First of our Australian competitors. We wish him well. Buzzes away, Gilbert's gone. Once again, right hand cast. Sheep are pulled up nicely. A nice deep cast. Straight away the sheep look hungry. See what Gilbert can do. He had a great run in the Interstate Challenge. 3 great runs really. Managed the sheep very nicely. He's had a good trial. So Gilbert's got him settled down nicely. You see just covering both sides, swinging from right to left. Straight on, trying to keep them as straight as possible for maximum points. And every point saved is one in the bank, because these sheep are pretty good at taking them. And Gilbert's quite the picture of sheepdog, head down, concentration, well muscled. A real picture. On the ground now, bathed in sunlight, quite warm in the 20s. So the dogs are going to feel it. Certainly the New Zealand dogs are going to feel it. As Grant sheep approach that winding peg, they've come down pretty nicely. Not totally settled, but they're as good as you'd want them at the moment. And around they go. A little break out to the right. So Grant's going to try and bring him back on course before he leaves. Pretty hard for the dog to be in 2 places at once there, so as they bump around behind where Grant is, they feel the relief. And so they can make a bit of a run, but Gilbert's got some speed. He's whizzed around and picked him up. So Grant's and Gilbert have completed that So Grant and Gilbert have completed that first part of the course, done a nice job, kept them fairly straight. Certainly a threesome there that seems to be wanting to stay together, which is a good start. Gilbert straight on the head, blocking that sheet. You can see once again they want a break to the middle. Gilbert, he's pretty quick across the ground. Grant's got him sitting nicely in that corridor, heading up the ground. He's got him walking, and couldn't ask for anything else. Exactly what you hope to happen. Once again, their heads down for grazing, and then they pop up and away they go.
We've got some scores in, Simon, for Mark with Don. So Pat Coogan, the New Zealand judge, gave Don a score of 71. The Australian judge, Mr Bernard McGlashan, gave a score of 55, giving him an average score of 63. So Mark Copeland from New Zealand with Don is a 63.
Do you want me to make that? So as Grant heads towards that first obstacle, done a nice job, kept them mostly on course, just a little skip away there. Mark Copeland and Don, New Zealand judge, scored 71. Australian judge scored 55 with a total of 63. 63 for the first round. We're watching Grant Cook as he approaches that first obstacle, the gap. Gilbert's done a pretty nice job. He's settled these three pretty nicely, just bending them towards that gap now. And he'll go straight into that drive. He just doesn't want him to bolt. He's just taking his time. A little bit of work here can pay off in the long run. Trying to make sure their heads are right and they're settled. They've walked down that corridor pretty nicely. Just the one little skip away. Gilbert seems to be having a good impression on them. Sometimes these light dogs draw the sheep. Gilbert so far has been able to move them pretty nicely and away they go. So Grant's into his drive. And they've just had a bit of a gallop. Not too bad. Gilbert just holding his side. Got them moving along nicely. An ideal run is down the centre of that corridor. Judges will be looking for the sheep to be working that centre of the corridor. But just keeping him on course is hard enough, so at the moment they look okay. Grant steps in, Gilbert pulls up, keeps them ticking along, really nicely done. As they approach that first entrance to the Maltese cross, and they've just slipped down the side there. Haven't gone too far, but they had a little run. Now they're entering. They've got to come round to where Grant is and hopefully point them through, heading them towards those dog pro signs. Here they come back around. Grant tries to catch them. They've just broken out of that free working area, so Gilbert's got some work to do. Just skipping away. Look how quick that dog is, kicking up dirt as he pulls up. Still moving off him okay, but that's a big draw down there. Back to the let out. So all the weight's on the dog again. Coming back into that free working area slowly. And that one lagging behind a little bit. And through they go. Once again, that draw to the middle of the ground, away they go. They're taking ground off the dog each time they break away. Gilbert's onto it, back on course. Onto the bridge. They've been pretty good, but they're just starting to split up a little bit now. One's lagging behind and he's given straight to the bridge and straight over. A really good lead. That was fortunate, but you take what you get. So Grant's just taking up his position, ready to go. Gilbert's going up. Oh, nicely done. Just a little hiccup there at the cross. Bridge was done easily. Let's see what the pen looks like. Certainly crucial to get that gate shut. We saw with Mark in the run before, they didn't like it too much. These three, they just seem a little more settled than Mark's sheep. Sticking together nicely. Pointing in the right direction. And the tension builds a little bit. Grant striding out, dog holding his side. They're well positioned. And a very good leader into that bridge. Here we go. I slipped down the side, just that one. In the mouth of the pen now. He's actually gone in, so sometimes the two can join him and sometimes the one can join the two. Gone too far away this time. Leaders going in, hold them up. Gilbert just a little left and a little right, rolls them in, into the pen. Grant's going for the gate, they look pretty settled. Gilbert covers his side. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant Cook with Pendelup Gilbert for the Aussie team.
Next Kiwi to the ground is Scott Hunter, and he'll be working his dog Lucy. How are you feeling, Scott?
Yeah, good, thanks, Simone. Yep, looking forward to it.
Mark got you off to a good start putting up a 63. You'd expect that from your leader?
Yeah, that's right. A lot of experience there, so we're pretty lucky to have him go up first. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck to you and Lucy.
Thank you very much.
So Scott Hunter takes up his position with Lucy. Second competitor for the Kiwis. It's a tight contest. We wait on the scores. For Grant Cook, we wait on his score and we'll give you that shortly. Away she goes out to the right-hand side again. Just searching for those sheep, and there she goes. She's got them. I just noticed the dog for the first time. Let's see what happens on this lift. Such an important part of the trial. This first introduction. You can see just tippy-toeing towards those three sheep. Trying hard to not upset them, but get them walking. Hopefully he gets a good start, and when a good start follows hopefully a good trial. The three haven't done much yet. Lucy's just got in close enough to get them to move, and away they go. Well, these three are sticking together so far too. They're a bit tighter. Just a little skip along, but nothing too bad. On course, nice and reasonably straight. And see the whistles of these New Zealanders. It's almost like a bird call, constant, reminding them where to go and what to do. All of these dogs have worked extensively at home. On the big farms, some on cattle, some on sheep. They just had a little bit of a break to the right there, so they're just not quite coming as straight as he'd like. But still not too much damage done. We'll see in a minute when the sheep approach what we've got, and you can see the one's lagging a little bit. He might be your problem. He's got a big one on the outside, and you can see he's already starting to get a bit of a run on. Keeps manoeuvring himself to the middle. A couple of smaller sheep on the outside. Both. So Grant Cook scored a 73 from both judges, making it a 73. Out there now is Scott Hunter. Out there now is Scott Hunter. With Lucy as he comes to the first part of completing the first part of the course. It's round behind that winding peg, the casting peg. And for an ideal run, he'll slot them between the two orange posts. And here they go, having a look. Little jump, little skip. Lucy's onto them. And that's as nice as you'd like it done. Very nicely done. Sets them up. So Scott and Lucy have completed that first part of the course. Nice job. Kept them on the corridor as they went around that winding post. Pretty straight cast, not too bad. He'd be happy. Things look okay at the moment. The sheep seem to be settled. There's a big one amongst them that's lagging a little bit. We'll see what happens as the trial goes on. But so far, it's a pretty tidy run. Heads down, little pop up now, a little gallop off. Oh boy, when they go, they go. Lucy's out there catching them, keeping them on course. He sets them up for that first gap, hopefully, without too much more running. Little bump, and they're skittish. They're not easy sheep, they just react to everything. Lucy's got a good distance, nice shape around her sheep. Scott just starts to position them. It's just those little touches, trying not to upset them. Once again, that big sheep comes to the fore. He's going to lead the way by the look of it. Standing at the front, head up. Points them to the gap. And through they go, nicely done. Lucy just pulling them up on the head. Doesn't want them getting away. Straightens them up and heading towards that Maltese cross. So the course is designed to challenge elements of the Australian trialling and elements of the New Zealand trialling. It's a split, so they're judged evenly. Both teams have a fair crack at it. And this New Zealand drive, just the dog's not allowed to go forward of the sheep. Well, it's allowed to, but there is a deduction of points. And the handler's allowed to help, and you can see Scott there just using his arms, positioning himself, trying to get the block in, and now he's just trying to bend them into that Maltese cross. And Lucy steps in, he's got a good sheep at the front. What can he do? Well placed right in front. One's had a look, through they go. Keep them going. Just having a little stop and out they come. Well, that's so far so good. Lucy's out and around. This is a bit where they have been letting go and heading for home. All the weight of the dog just pushes them past the obstacle. One's had a run for it. And what were settled three have just lifted their heads a bit, haven't they? They just look a bit skittish. Lucy's got them, round they come. Oh, one's going for home. Boy, she had to work hard. Turns it back. Boy, if he another metre further and I think it would have been gone. So dog did really well catching that sheep, turning it back towards the cross. He's got him back in front, back in the game. Here they go, had a look. Just a little jitter in the middle and through they go. So continuing with the driving, they head towards the bridge. We're really seeing the trialling at the very top level. These sheep are not easy. These guys are having to use all of their experience and skill of the dog and the handler to try and keep themselves working in the game. You can see the sheep, particularly that one on the inside here, just wants to head off anywhere else but where he's meant to. Oh, and a good little block there. Goodness, that was terrific work by the dog. Just walking towards that free working area, just being hesitant. One's had a look. Bring the other two up, right in front. Got a good leader, what will he do? Don't do that. Lucy was right there on the job. Straight in front, over they go. Good, that was terrific. That was touchy, could have gone any way, but boy, they handled it well. So Scott checks his time, he's heading for the pen. Back to the Australian side of the course. Hands in his pockets, he's not allowed to help. Right-hand course. Sheep have had a little bit of a run. Lucy's out there to the front. Pulls them up. Ticking towards that pen, he's got a ton of time. Doesn't need to hurry, but he doesn't need to blow it either. Sheep are just happily grazing. As we saw before, the dog touches them and they pop up and run. See if you can just edge them towards that pen. One's had a look at the dog. Little gallop. Oh, one's heading for the hills. Round they go, goodness. Just accelerated. And a little skip of the heartbeat there in the handler's circle. Haven't gone too far away, just behind the pen, not too much trouble. It's going to work them around again. But it's that big lead sheep that's making all the trouble. He's wanting to run all the time. He had a good look at the bridge and then decided not to go up it, and the other two took him over. And then he had a look at the pen and decided not to go in it and ran behind it, so he's well placed now. Dog just pulls him up in front of it, beautifully done. Got him to stop. That's a tricky position. Lucy nice and wide. Sheep have stood. What can he do here? Oh, they're right there in the mouth. One turns in. That guy's looking out. What will he do? Turns in. Oh, one stuck down the side. Well, it all looked good for a second. And then a sheep got involved. So Scott, Hunter and Lucy have got a little bit of work to do. Time's not an issue still. They got plenty of time. Those sheep are just not playing very nicely. And those laps are costly. They just get in front of that obstacle and they just accelerate. They're just not settling. And what can you do? It's a tough position behind the gate there to get them around in front. Just rolling one at a time around. Guy doesn't look too interested in moving. Here we go, this time. Well, it looks like that sheep's had enough of all this and is heading for home, and it's heading home at a rate of knots. And boy, that's an expensive breakaway. That sheep is absolutely mad. And that's disappointing. That was a pretty good run to that point. Things were going okay. But as you know, in sheepdog trialling, it's never over until that gate's shut. And now time becomes an issue. So that's the time on the trial. Scott Hunter with Lucy. Give him a round of applause, folks. He didn't quite get the gate shut. Terrific demonstration of sheepdog trialling. We'll wait on his score.
And he'll be working his dog Brands Hatch Tusker. So we've had 2 New Zealanders out, and Dave is our second for Australia. All the best, Dave.
Thank you very much. We'll need it.
So the second of our Australian competitors, Dave Lacey, with Tusker out there. 3 sheep released at the far end. Tusker set nice and deep. Tusker's had a good trial this week. He's made the top 20. And also the Australian team. See what he can do with these 3. So away we go. Dave's sent Tusker out to the right, red on white border collie. Those sheep have headed to the fence line. It's not ideal. See if he can pick him up. He's done a good job. Got nice, quietly behind them. So Tusker starts his introduction. Straight away the sheep headed to the fence line. Unfortunately they know where to go, and it gives the dog quite a challenge to get them off that fence. Tusker's had a good week. He's pretty good at smoothing out these rough sheep. They're just drifting a little bit to the right, but not too much damage done. Dave wouldn't be too concerned. He likes that steadiness. And they're not running, they're walking. So I'd be pretty happy about that. And each time they look at Tusker, they don't see him as a challenge. So they're willing to move off him. So far so good. It's just that little drift off to the right that pretty much all the sheep have done. Once again the grazing starts. It's that time of the day that they'd come out and get a bite to eat and have a drink. But we brought them to a sheepdog trial, so they better get working with the dog this time. Dave Lacey's been around the traps. He started in Western Australia, moved up to Queensland for a while and did really well. Came back to WA and won a lot of trials, and relocated to Victoria, and he's representing Victoria and now Australia for his second time. So he's done extremely well over many years now. And here comes Tusker heading towards that first winding peg.
We've just got some scores in for you at home with Scott Hunter with Lucy. Pat Coogan gave him a score of 59. Bernard McGlashan a score of 58, which gave him an average of 58.5.
So Dave's worked really well. He's got him down to his winding peg at the moment. And around they go. Little runaway now. Tusker's out to get to the head to pull them up and stop them. And Dave's away. So Dave's completed that first part of the course. Done a nice job. Pretty straight. Just a little drift off to the right there. And around they went, and Tusker was onto the head to shut them down. And you can see the sheep got their heads down, have a little munch on the grass. But pretty casual, pretty relaxed. I think Dave would be feeling okay about that. Tusker certainly having a good influence, not upsetting him. Walking around nicely. Scott Hunter with Lucy scored a 59 and a 58 for a total of 58.5 for the New Zealand team. So Dave out there trying to better or equal that. Give the Australians a bit of an advantage if he can so far. Looks like he's got 3 good ones. He's handling them pretty nicely. As Dave heads down towards that first obstacle, the gap. And they've just broken off to the right a little bit. Once again looking for the green grass, it seems. It's that time of the day. Sheep come out to graze. But unfortunately for them, they've got a sheepdog trial to do, so they better get up the heads up soon. Tusker just getting them to point in the right direction again. They're walking nicely. Hasn't had the little upsets that the other dogs have had, where they haven't run too far. They've just ticked along nicely. Certainly settling for the handler's viewpoint when the sheep behave this way. But you can't be complacent, because here there's quite a draw, and the draw is back to that dog pro sign as we saw in the last run. And when they head for home, sometimes they head pretty fast. And they've tickled through there nicely. Dave's away. Straight into that drive. A little skip away, not too bad. Tusker just sitting on the shoulder nicely. Had to go to the head then just to pull him up. They just want to get past him. He's got the dog on the weight side of the sheep. The heavy side is the side closest to the dog pro sign. Tusker just forward of the sheep, just not letting him run. Now he gets back into a dry position. And they're walking nicely across the ground. Beautifully work done so far. Dave's not allowed to get in front of that lead sheep. He's not allowed to take a backward step. He can stop, but for a deduction of points. He can move sideways. He can influence the sheep himself. He's part of the team, so it's okay for him to push the sheep along a little bit. And the dog's obviously holding his side, and he's got them beautifully lined up. Well, you wouldn't see it done much better than that. Straight in. Lovely work by Dave and Tusker. And out they come. So that was a pretty tidy little bit of work. Dave's just going to bring them around to the other side now and point them in the direction of that bridge. So far, not too much trouble. Sheep seem happy, dog seems happy. I don't know what Dave's thinking. There they go, lining up for that opening. Right in front of it. Just one sheep lagging a little bit. He's going to bend them around. One's coming past it, Dave. He's got to hold his end. Little block. And just milling in the front there. They're not looking. What can he do? Can he get them to point? Turns one sheep, two sheep, three sheep through they go. Well, a little bit of tension there, but it was done nicely, handled nicely, and Dave picks up the light side and gets the dog up on the heavy side towards that middle of the ground, and that's a good start to that drive. Straight in the middle, exactly where he'd want them to be. But while their heads are down, they're not looking where they're going, so we don't want to surprise them with a bridge. You can get their heads up, get them to look, see the freedom over the bridge. It's again well positioned, nicely lined up. They went through that cross beautifully. They've been through the gap very nicely. Here we need a little bit of pressure. Do we need much? Do we need any? Straight over. Wow, that was pretty nicely done. And that's quite a lot of the tension of the trial. But as we've seen already, they can look pretty until you try to pop them in the pen. So Dave and Tusker, this critical, important part of the trial. 20 points on the pen, 30 points on the section. He's still got them walking, hasn't upset them, got them pretty nice. Right in the middle of that corridor, Tusker's holding his side. Heading towards that handler's circle. Just grazing a little bit, heads down, pretty happy. It's almost like Dave brought his own sheep today. They're pretty nice. But once again, that pen has been quite a tension builder. The heads are in the right direction. Having a little run. Tuskers around the back, pulling them up. Nicely done. They're sitting in a pretty good position. Right on the edge of that pen. One's had a little look inside, two had heads down. And Tusker just tippy-toeing towards them. Inch them forward. Little left, little right, here we go, got to roll on. They're right in front of it. Oh, we jumped the right way. And all of a sudden their heads are up in the air, and all of a sudden they're looking for somewhere to go. And hopefully it's into the back of the pen. They're rolling. Had a look. Oh, gee, one came out. So two are in, one's out. What can you do? He's giving a nice wide berth. Try not to upset him, roll him around. Tusker's quick. They're settling nicely, inching them forward. Big guy goes around the front, in they go. Up to the back of the pen. Oh, he's got his head up again. They're milling. Tuskers just holding their heads. Dave's not going for the gate, he's taken a step. Tippy-toeing, being quiet, got the gap shut. Dave Lacey and Tusker for Australia.
What a beautiful performance.
Lovely run
our
by
second
Dave.
competitor. Okay, so the next competitor out for New Zealand is their young gun, Mr. Ben Miller, Working King. Have you got anything you'd like to say, Ben?
Not particularly.
All good, all the best to you, mate. So Ben Miller is out next for New Zealand.
So Ben Miller takes his position in the handler's post with King. We get set for another round. 3 sheep have come out. Drifting off to the left this time, a little bit unusual. We'll see what King can do with them. Buzzer's gone, dog's gone. Sweeping out to the right. You can see how dry it is out there. The dust kicks up. It's warm. Hard work for the dogs. See what Ben can do with King. And 3 of these young, well, not so young, merino ewes. Blue tag ewes. And they've been tricky. It's often the case with the ewes that have had a lamb or 2. They just get a little bit wise and a little bit crafty. But these are the best of the best, and you're seeing it already. Terrific work from the handlers. Able to keep them settled, keep them walking, heading in the right direction. And it's really a treat for us all to see these top handlers from New Zealand and Australia battling it out. And King was over here the last time the Kiwis visited. I think he's represented a number of times now. And he was impressive then, he's an impressive dog, and he's impressive now. These are the New Zealand heading dogs. You can see the big, solid built dogs, leggy and super obedient. He drops like he's shot when he's been told. He sits to the ground and just on the sound of a whistle comes to a skidding halt. So Dave Lacey with brand Hatch Tusker scored a 82.5, a 77, giving him a total of 79.5. So Ben Miller and King. He's got those sheep pretty nicely settled. They've come down really well around the winding peg. And they look pretty happy to be there at the moment. Dave Lacey had a terrific run. Scored an 82.5 and a 77, giving him an average or total of 79.75. Ben Miller out there with the sheep, just one lagging behind. Just found a patch of grass that it doesn't really want to leave. And it's catching them up now. He's got a little bit of a spook on that sheep, it's a bit strange. And he's joined the others and he's right again. King giving some good distance. So ideal run, keeping him in that corridor, 9 metre corridor to the right hand side of the handler. Clearly marked there with the markers. He just needs to keep them inside those 2 markers. Every time they take a step out, the judges will grab a point or 2, but and while they remain out of there, moving metres outside of that corridor, they're also losing points. Scored out of 100. And it's sectionalised, so you can blow a section, lose all the points in a section, but keep going. And you don't lose any from the adjoining section, you just lose that section that you're working in. But Ben and King, they're not losing too many. They got them working pretty nicely. See what he has to do with that sheep that keeps lagging. Just doesn't seem to want to join the others all the time. Whether that gap gets bigger. They look like they are really hungry at the moment. And there they go, straight in front of the gap and straight through. Beautifully done. And King takes up his position into the drive. Got them on course. Inside that corridor, King's holding his side. Bends away. And that's quite the picture at the moment. Nice walking sheep. Nice straight line. Heading towards that Maltese cross. And picture of concentration. King, head down. Ben holding his side, just influencing that lead sheep with his hand. And that's as nice as you'll see it done. Really lovely work into that free working area. So the Maltese cross. Lead sheep's had a look. And straight through. Lovely, lovely work. Boy. The young fella Ben's doing a great job. We're really seeing the best of the best here today. And these sheep really put a lot of the Interstate Challenge competitors to the sword. And they just gave us a heck of a challenge. But so far, with the really top dogs and the really top handlers, they're handling them nicely. Round they come now for the next part of that Maltese cross. Well positioned, bends them round as nice as you like it, straight or through. So Ben's chosen to take the top side. Brings King down on the underside towards the middle of the ground, and that's where the weight's been. So he's decided to put the dog on the weighted side, but they're walking pretty straight, they're not too bothered. Head down, grazing away. And King's a long way off them. I'll see what the bridge looks like. He's got one heading towards the bridge. Leading up nicely. Where's he going to go? In or out? He thought about it. Ben was onto it. A little fancy footwork by the handler. He's turned back out. So we've seen this a little bit in the Dog Pro Supreme, where the sheep have got to the pen in good form and then decided they didn't want to go up it. Ben's holding his foot side. King holds his side. Points them up. And there we go. Well done. Straight over. Going to be pretty happy with how things are working out. Checks his clock. He's got a ton of time. He's got plenty of time to really get these sheep right. And maybe for the New Zealanders, post a decent score. They just got themselves tucked in behind that wing there of the bridge. We'll see what King can do. He's got to get him out of there without blowing him up. Bends away. King just tickles him out. Back around onto the head. Straightens him up. Away they go. It's a little breakaway onto the inside. Not too much trouble. They're still good. Just brings them back in line. A little skip away. This is where the pressure comes on. approached that pen we saw with Dave, those nicer runners he had, they still gave him trouble. Just took a couple of extra points off at the last moment. And Ben's got a ton of time to run off a ton of points. So just needs that lead sheep's heads up. It's the same one that took him, wanted to take him past the bridge. He's not happy. He might lead them in. What can he do? King's in a good spot. Sheep's heads up. The other two, they really couldn't care less. The guy gave in. Where's he going to go? Which way is he going to go? Heads down. King tippy-toeing in. Sheep happily grazing. Just inching them forward. Heads are in the right direction. Working towards that gate hinge. Oh, little stutter. One's heads up now. He's looking. King just taking his steps in, inching forward. They're so close. A little jump. Oh, that one slipped down the end of the gate. Boy, they're frustrating. Just couldn't get their heads up to have a look. They were too busy grazing. And when it popped up, they just saw a trap. So Ben, if you can keep their heads up and just roll them around. There we go. Leader's looking. It's going to go past the gate. Oh, King, what a good effort. Got out there wide. Just stopped them from slipping down that gate. There we go again. Where's he going? Where's he going to head? King's onto it. Don't go that way. Oh, and he's just ambled around the gate. So each time they just stick their heads down the side there, it's a point. Sometimes when they get down behind the pen, it's 3 points. And they rattle off. You come home from a good run thinking, where did all the points go? He just hasn't got them to have a look inside that pen yet. They're pretty happily just wandering around out there, but they're not really going where he wants them to be. Back in front, let's see what King can do. Heads are up, starting to walk. He's got that one better position. Oh, he just turned it out. Oh. Yeah, the dog got ahead of it there. He just got ahead of himself and just flipped that sheep's head out. So he's got it all to do again. Time becomes a little short. A minute and a half left in his trial. He's got him better position now. Get that sheep in, turn his head. There you go. King's got him. Don't let him go that way. Ooh, it's the same sheep that's given him trouble all the way around. Just little sneaky moves. He just shut him down there that time. This time. He's not done yet. He's got him behind the other two now. That's a little better position. Oh, he wanted to go again. He's still not happy. Ben's going for the gate. Ben Miller with King for New Zealand getting the gate shut.
Pretty handy run for Ben Miller with King up into the pen. They'll no doubt have quite a good score, but unfortunately they will have lost a few around the pen there, Simon.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He had him on toast until the pen.
He certainly did. After the first two dogs out, Australia have got an early lead after Grant Cook and Dave Lacey's runs. They've got a total of 152.75. They're currently up by near 30 points on New Zealand, but we've still got some handlers to come. Our next competitor out for Australia is Anthony Island with Oak Downs Banjo, and then the final competitor out for New Zealand will be Lloyd Smith with Guide. Then the last competitor out will be the Australian captain Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. So we've still got 3 dogs to run, but at this stage Australia do have the early lead. There is our president, Mr. Anthony Island. Just get you to turn around, mate, so they can see your face.
Where's the camera around? What's the dog?
Yep. How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. A little bit nervous. Hopefully everything goes all right.
Nerves are good. All the best, mate.
Thank you.
So Anthony Island casting into the sunset with Banjo. And a good trial for Banjo. Once again making the top 20 in the Dog Pro Supreme Sheepdog Championship. And also performing extremely well in the Interstate Challenge to make his way into the team. So Anthony sent Banjo off to the right. Sweeping cast. The sheep has settled nicely at the end of that let out. And we'll see what he can do with these 3.
So we've got some scores have come in for Ben Miller with King. So Pat Coogan, the New Zealand judge, gave him a score of 80. Bernard McGlashan, the Australian judge, gave him a score of 79, which gives him an average of 79.5. So very tidy run there for Ben Miller with King. If you hadn't had that little bit of trouble there at the pen, it would have been an absolute blinder. So well done to Ben Miller and King, the 3rd workers out there for New Zealand.
So Banjo's picked up his 3 sheep. He's got them moving a little bit off to the right already. And that's been pretty typical of all the runs. They've just sort of drifted down that hill towards that white sign at the back. For some reason there's a draw there, and they really don't want to come back up the hill. So the dogs have got their work cut out. Banjo, you can see him just weaving backwards and forwards, trying to impress these sheep but not upset them. A little gallop on now. So he's got enough there to make them move. And he also got enough cover to keep them together. It's a tricky sport, that's for sure, and the dogs are really asked to do a lot.
They certainly are, Simon. This little dog of Anthony's, Banjo, he's had a big week. He had 3 runs in the Ted Gaby Interstate Challenge early in the week. and has also performed really well in the Supreme Draw. He's got a run tomorrow in the top 20, so he's certainly got a busy week.
Anthony, our president of the Australian body. So he's had a busy week himself.
Most certainly has. I know he'll be keen to retain this Wayleggo Cup that our team won last year when they went over to New Zealand. History shows that New Zealand have won that cup 22 times in the 32 tests that we've had. Sorry, in the 38 tests, yeah. So Australia have only won it 16, so these boys are pretty keen to retain the Wayleggo Cup that we won last year in New Zealand.
So he's got 3 pretty even sheep, and they look pretty settled. Heads are down, having a bit of a snack, bit of a graze. Banjo moves nicely, a little bit hairy. We're seeing less of the woolly dogs out there and more of the smooth-coated dogs in sheepdog trialling, probably because of the heat and the birds on the farms. Banjo, he's been a good performer. He's been a really good performer.
He certainly has. Anthony's now on his way down to the gap.
So Anthony and Banjo have done a good job, brought them down pretty nicely. And Anthony's away, heading towards that gap. He seems to have 3 pretty good laid-back sheep at the moment. Hasn't upset them. You see his movement around the sheep. He's been really careful. He's quick. Covers them, gets to the head, slows them up. But once again, the problem of the grazing sheep. They seem to graze away and they pop their heads up and have a little run. And that can be quite tricky to manage. And it's certainly not ideal. But it's better than running, it's better than fighting. And we've had all of that this week, and all of the sheep, we've had everything. We've had sheep running like camels. We've had other sheep challenging the dog. And now we've got grazers. So Anthony's made his way to that gap. He's done it in good time, and pretty nice quiet sheep. And he steers them through, beautifully done. And that'll just relax the nerves a little bit, completing that first part of the course. So Anthony's having a good drive. He's away. He's broken off to the left onto the inside there a little bit, so switch sides. Got a bit of a head of steam up now. And down past that obstacle just into the wing, but he's taking his time. He's not panicking. As he steps towards that free working area, he can just roll that lead sheep around. Maybe the others will follow, so just not looking where they're going, are they? Their heads are down. They're pretty happy in that green grass of the oval. Anthony and Banjo working together as in tandem, as a team, pointing towards that mouth. Well, they did that beautifully, straight through. One's just lagging. Catch him up, Banjo. Still not out. Needs him to go the right way. Oh, he's done a turn. That was unfortunate, not what he wanted. He just lagged behind, didn't he? And just didn't want to go follow the other two. And then when he saw that opening to the side, he took it. So Anthony will just have to rework that section again. See if he can get them to go through as a group this time. He had a good leader. I'm pretty happy to go in there. And this time he's not going to muck around. Get him out of there. Nicely done. Still that back sheep. Just had a little pause, a little balk. Be aware of that as he comes to the next part of this cross. Just doesn't seem too bothered to follow the other two. He's happy to sit back on his own, and there he goes again. So they're in the mouth. Had a good lead sheep, took him through. He just had that lagger. Here he goes. Good position, heading in the right direction. Out they come. Anthony's got his skates on, trying to cover that side. The Banjo's on the other side, so Anthony's chosen to take the inside running. Sheep haven't really looked to go too far away at the moment. Banjo gets some ticking over. Anthony's got to get his skates on, and he's done all right. Had to switch sides there. Dog's taken up the other side. Those crossovers, they're deductions in points. It's not a cross in the traditional sense, it's just a changing of sides. It's quite okay for the dogs to do that, but there is a deduction. And it's necessary in many cases. You want the dog on the heavy side. And here's that sheep again, just popping up at the random times and giving him a little bit of grief. Anthony's just switching over, see if he can get that sheep to look. Banjo's super responsive, listening to everything Anthony's saying. Gets them in front, leads them up. Oh, lovely work. 1, 2, 3, off they hop. Anthony Island and Banjo representing Australia heading to the pen. Banjo speeding to the front, pulling them up. Sheep are happily get their heads down again. And as we've seen, this has been the tricky bit of the course. Banjo's been around a while, had a really good year, successful dog. Here they go again. A little skip along. Whoa, Banjo pulled up, skidded to a halt there, didn't he? Super fast. Anthony just trying to keep them in front of that obstacle, not let them slip down the side. But every time they pop their heads up, they just get a little bit of a move on. And certainly tension builds just as they arrive at the critical part. Here we go again. Just having a look down the side of the gate. Anthony's got it covered. Turns them the other way. Oh, down the side. Not too much damage done. They're still there for the taking. Banjo's got to be quick. Unfortunately, the sheep took the short option and scooted past that gate. So once again, a pretty tidy little performance right until now. It hasn't cost him a heap, but it's just a bit of frustration. They're looking to go anywhere but the pen at the moment. Banjo getting his head up, walking into their faces. Look at the way he sticks his chest out. So Anthony's just trying to calm things down a bit. Where will they go this time? Oh, they just sneak past that gate again. And they just do it so slowly, it's not even fast. They just wander down there. Here we go again. Oops. Better position. Banjo's got them well placed now. Don't go out. They're close. Just sticking out a little bit. Oh, he's turned on the dog. Block, block, block. Banjo, what a terrific bit of work. Just got in front of that sheep and he's held him there. But that sheep's not finished yet. Wow, the tension this pen brings to the sheepdog trial. Everything looks great, everybody's happy. And then we get a sheep to doing that sort of behaviour. They're right there. Oh, you are not a very nice sheep. And that's better. In they go. Anthony's going for the gate. They look settled. Dog's got them. Anthony Island and Banjo gets the gate shut for Australia.
Another solid performance by the Australian team. That's 3 pens for our 3 workers. No doubt that will be another good score for Australia. We'll bring it to you as soon as we have it in a moment. We've got 1 competitor left for each country. Lloyd Smith will be out next for New Zealand. And then our team captain, Jim O'Connell, will be out last for Australia. Smith with his dog guide. Welcome to Australia. How are you feeling being 4th one out?
A bit nervous, but that's all. Not easy, but yep, we'll see what we can manage.
You've got a wealth of experience, I know, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
So Lloyd Smith for New Zealand with guide. Takes up his position. The sheep came out a little bit rough there. Just jumped that bunting. Sitting in the shade. And New Zealand team have been sponsored by a great group of companies getting them over here. Purina, Zotis, Westmere Farming, all great supporters of New Zealand trialling. So Lloyd sends guide off on the right hand side. Sheep have already got a little bit of a skip along. little jump out. See what he can do, and we'll give the rest of the sponsors as we go, because the Kiwis have worked really hard in putting a team together to get across here. And they've been greatly supported by lots of home companies. It's a credit to them because it's an expensive pastime. Certainly getting the dogs across now has become really expensive. And we obviously want them taken care of and be in the best condition they can be. And we want these Australia versus New Zealand tests to continue. It really is the ultimate test of a sheepdog out here.
Yeah, all good. Mm-hmm. So the score has come in for Anthony Ireland with Oak Downs Banjo. Bernard McGlasher, the Australian judge, gave him a score of 71. Pat Coogan, the New Zealand judge, gave him a score of 64, which gives him an aggregate of 67.5. So after the 3 runs for each country, Australia have a lead of 20 points, or sorry, 19 points. So it's a close competition. We've got the final workers out now. Lloyd Smith for New Zealand, and then we'll have Jim O'Connell for Australia.
They've certainly been going head to head, and 20 points is not a big margin.
Certainly not on these sheep. As we've seen with the last couple of dogs, they've got to the pen, not much trouble, and then the points have certainly peeled off once they've got to the pen.
So New Zealand's still well in it.
They certainly are. The boys have been walking around with their black jackets on, and there's a heap of sponsors on their jackets. Just goes to show it does take a lot to get them out here to Australia. We appreciate the effort that they've gone to.
Young Ben, his partner, is their team has put together quite an impressive list of supporters, and her little company, Dog and Country, has been one of the major ones out there and supporting New Zealand. She's going around the countryside testing ewes, and a little side business, Dog and Country, on the internet, selling collars and dog products. And they put their hand in their pocket to get these guys over here, which we really appreciate.
It takes a lot to get them out to Australia, and it certainly costs us a lot too when we send our team to New Zealand. And I think probably a lot of you aren't aware of the cost of getting our team out when we send our team to New Zealand, and also for them coming here. I think they were saying the other day that it was up around the 40,000 to get out here to Australia by the time you vet your dogs and the airfares of getting the team out here. So the support that they've received from their sponsors has just been extraordinary. And Australia, we're very grateful to our long-term sponsor, Dog Pro. John Camilleri and the team at High Pro, they've been supporters of our Australian test team now for a number of years. And we certainly can't do it without our sponsors, but the Australian Working Sheepdog Association has actually set up now a fundraising platform as we're trying to raise money to get our team out to New Zealand next year. So it's an issue, and it's an ongoing issue that we're all facing, the rising costs of getting our teams out, but it's something that we need to really focus on getting on board with, because this competition, there's none other like it in this sport. It's the pinnacle of our sport to be able to represent your country.
So Lloyd Smith and Guide has completed that first part of the course. Done a pretty nice job. Looks like 3 pretty good sheep. And he's away, he's heading down through that corridor, heading to that gap. He's got sheep in his pocket almost. It looks pretty impressive at the moment. And there's not much in this between the two teams. So the pressure's on every individual and dog team to try and get those 3 sheep around the course with as little trouble as possible. It's a lovely day to work sheep, the sun shining, the wind's not blowing, and The sheep are really behaving so far. As Lloyd approaches that first obstacle, he's got them pretty nicely positioned. Just wandering away a little bit, takes up his position in the handler's circle. Turns their heads, points them in the right direction. And the sheep oblige. Through they go. Lovely work. Little trot on now. Guide just goes around, catches that lead, pushes them back on course. Heads down to that cross. The last of the New Zealand competitors. Jim O'Connell for Australia is up next, our captain. So it all comes down to these two handlers who can put the first test to bed. It's been a tight contest and there's been some terrific work and some amazing dogs. Lloyd's doing a pretty nice job at the moment too, just having to pull up as he doesn't get in front. Away they go again. So they came out a bit wild, they hit that bunting and just got a bit stirred up, but they've settled down nicely. And actually are working really well towards that first obstacle. He's got a good leader. Heads up. Keeps him ticking over, gets him into the front of it. He's away, get that tail up. And there they go, lovely work. Kept them moving, didn't upset them, pointed them through the obstacle. Just had a little pause there for a second, and out they come. Guide whizzes around. It's going to bring them back to the top of that Maltese cross. Round they come. Once again, that leader leads. Where's he going to take him? Lloyd steps in, see if he can turn that head into that obstacle. Had a look, bends him round. Through they go. Well, that was pretty nicely done. Once again, they go to the middle. Guide's there to hold them up. Still driving, away they go, straight to the bridge. And the bridge really hasn't given too many problems in this test series so far. They've been pretty good, happy to go over it. And everybody so far has got to the bridge in plenty of time. And the pen has just been a little bit of a hiccup. So let's see how they go. Their heads are down, they're grazing away. Guide comes in. He had a pretty good leader going through that cross. Let's see if the same sheep will take them over the bridge. Turn them one way, turn them out, a little bit of a bubble. Don't get down the side. Blocks them up nicely. Oh, they just got a bit stirred up. Here we go. Got a leader. Up they go. Nicely done. So the tension got a little bit there, but sheep decided to cooperate, which is a nice thing. It's always a relief when they start looking where you want them to go instead of everywhere else. So just the pen. Once again, done it in plenty of good time. Sheep haven't been too badly behaved. It's been a nice, smooth run. stepping towards that pen. Little gallop on, little breakaway. And this is what they've been doing. They get to the pen and for some reason they just get a little bit nervous, a little bit edgy. And just take a point or two here, point or two there. And a little jump again. Ooh, that sheep wasn't very happy about that. They got a scare and it had a bit of a jump. And around the back of the pen. So what can he do here? Anthony showed us earlier how difficult it can be with the one sheep not wanting to play. So far, these three haven't shown that inclination, although that leader onto the bridge, he was pretty happy to slip down the side if he could have. And they're just on the far side of the pen at the moment, grazing away. He's going to try and roll him around. He's put a block on the other side, gone nice and wide. Back sheep just hasn't come around. Here he comes. The leader's heads up. Rolls him around. They're right there. Oh. And once again they slip down the face of the gate. I don't know about you, but boy, the tension builds when they get to that pen. Oh, down the other side, so they're right in front. But they just haven't found their way into the opening. And they go again. Which way are they going to go? Oh, it's got to be quick. That sheep's let off. Oh, and he's heading for home. She's there to catch him. Frustration. They look pretty happy all around the course. Happy to go through the Maltese cross, happy to go through the gap. Comfortable on the bridge. But so far they haven't even looked in the pen. And we saw with Anthony, they can give you a fair bit of grief there. So he sets it up again. What can he do? Can he get them in? Tension builds. Heading in the right direction, pointing in the right direction. Glide goes around the back, builds some fences. Right on the hinge, their heads are right there. Inches them forward. Little roll, looking good. In they go. Heads for the gate. Time ticks away. Fantastic effort. Lloyd Smith with glide, getting the gate shut for New Zealand.
That was good work in the end there, wasn't it? That was Lloyd Smith with guide. You can certainly see the experience of New Zealand. They've sent out their captain first, Mark Copeland, working Don, and then they've sent out Lloyd Smith in 4th position. So the final competitor for Australia in this first test is our captain, Mr. Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. How are you feeling after those first 3 Aussie runs?
Good. And it's an honour to be back here representing Australia after a few years away. So, yeah, that's great.
Good on you, Jim. I know you're an ultimate competitor and you're going to give it your best out there for Australia, so good luck.
We'll give it our best.
Good luck.
Me and Nigel.
Is it Blackmore?
Blackmore.
So the last of the Australian competitors, Captain Jim O'Connell, Kamara Blackmore. As the sun sets on the horizon there, the dog casts out to the right. And once again, those sheep have a leaning towards that bottom end of the ground. Jim just asking Blackmore to pull up. Still walking towards her. It's pretty typical of how the sheep have behaved all weekend, all week. Really go and have a look to see what they're up against. Blackmore's up to the challenge, gets them heading in the right direction.
We've got the score come in for Lloyd Smith with guide. You can certainly see the experience of these handlers. The Australian judge gave him a score of 82 and the New Zealand judge gave him a score of 86.5, which gives him an aggregate of 84.25. So now that all of the 4 New Zealanders have run, their total is 285.25. And we've got our final competitor out for Australia at the moment, Mr. Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. We're currently sitting on 220.25. So we'll be looking for Jim to come in with at least a 65 to level the test. But clearly we'll be looking for a little bit more than that to give Australia the first test. We are running 3 tests here in Australia, but it is an aggregate. So the scores from each test will be added together and then the winner will be the highest aggregate over the 3 tests.
Jim's been a stalwart of Australian sheepdog trialling for a long time up here in Queensland and representing Australia, been a past president of the Australian body.
He certainly has. He's been actively involved with the Australian body for a very long time.
He's doing it here with a crossbred dog, well we think, a little bit of border collie and certainly looks like a little bit of kelpie in him. But, certainly a quality little sheepdog because she's done an amazing job so far in the trial.
She certainly has. She finished in 2nd place in the Ted Gaby Interstate Challenge on individual performances. So she certainly had put some good runs up early in the week.
And she's an unusual moving dog if you watch how her tail seems to whip around in the back, and she's fast, low, concentration. She just whips around. It's almost like a counterbalance for that dog. You see it swirling in the air and it doesn't upset the sheep, but it certainly keeps the dog pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, without a doubt, it does move a little bit differently, doesn't it?
Yeah. So she's approaching that winding peg now, and the sheep look pretty happy. Hasn't upset them, got really close to them. And it's got them looking pretty tidy at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he would have lost too many points at this first part of the trial. It's been pretty tidy. Jim's the ultimate competitor. Loves getting on the green blazer. Certainly an honour for him to be the captain of this team.
Yeah, looking at his coat, he's done it a few times. He's got quite a few lists on there showing of his representation of different things, and I'm assuming that's just the Australian team. He's probably got one for his Queensland team as well.
And that's exactly right. I think some of those numbers on his pockets are also from judging. He's an accomplished judge as well as a handler. And his wife, Rhonda, ever by his side. Her and Jim are certainly well known around the country. Rhonda's had a good week here herself. I think she won the novice competition with her dog.
So she sure did.
And I think it worked quite well too.
Yeah, with Ramulam Kalgoorlie, WA bred dog.
Yep. Shout out to the breeder, Ken Atherton. I'm sure he's watching at home.
So Jim O'Connell's completed that first part of the course. Kamara, that tail whipping around as she changes direction, low to the ground, twisting and turning, and he's got those sheep eating out of his pocket at the moment, really nicely walking, holding them up, just backing the dog off. And that looks pretty tidy from here. It's a lovely bit of work. So this is the last of our Australian competitors. Our captain, he's got one looking already before he gets to the circle. He doesn't want him to complete that obstacle. Checks with the judge. Judge is happy. Into his drive. Well, that was a bit of fortune. They could have gone. They just stopped at the right time and obviously had part of the sheep not all the way through the obstacle. Judge got himself in good position and said, Jim, away you go, and away he is. So heading towards that cross. So far so good. Little bubble there from one sheep.
That was score 82 and then 86.5.
So our last competitor, Lloyd Smith with Guide, scored an 82 and an 86.5 for a total of 84.25. Certainly some impressive sheepdog trialling for us to watch today. They've done a terrific job. What a spectacle it's been. Certainly tight at the top. And Jim's just heading towards that Maltese cross, and they're just giving him a little bit of trouble there, stalling slightly as they go past that big draw down to the let out. As they start to enter that free working area, Jim takes up his side, Kamara on the other side. See if he can get them straight through, lines them up. Oh, a little block. A little turnout. Not too costly. Just haven't gone directly through, but Jim's pretty experienced. There they go. In and out. Jim sends Kamara around to pick them up. And they're heading for the next part of that Maltese cross. She's working hard to get them around the front. That sheep's got its head up now. And Jim's there, puts in the block. Just persuading it to turn back around. Easy going, good stockmanship. Gets them looking down the opening. And through they go, nicely done. Kamara picks him up. Out on the left-hand side, and they're heading down towards the bridge. This has been a pretty good run so far again. Just a little skip in the step of those sheep stirs them up a bit. They got a bit doughy and a bit heads down, didn't need to move, didn't want to move. So Jim's decided just give them a little nudge along. And here they go, heading towards the bridge. What can she do? Lead sheet's looking, takes them straight over. Well, that was pretty nicely done. Beautiful work by Kamara. She didn't muck around. She pointed them in the right direction, up the ramp, and over they go. And as they always do, they just come off that bridge and have a little bit of a run. Just breaking off to the left a little bit. Kamara's there picking them up. They just got a bit stirred up there at the bridge. See if you can settle them again, because as we've seen, the pen has not been a walk in the park. All the hard work seems to be done, and then you come against that 4 panels of the pen and the sheep just go, no, we're not playing anymore. So Kamara's just got herself in front of those sheep, settling them. Jim heads towards that handler's circle. See what he can do. Doesn't want them down the side, just slip between the gap. So round they go. So Blackmore's about to pop them in the pen. What can she do? Got them well positioned. Jim checks his clock. Round they go. Boy, she was quick. She quickly whizzed back and blocked the gate. She's got them well positioned right in front. The one at the back's just making a bit of room. It's the one at the front that's the problem. What can he do? Oh, he looked for somewhere to go and he went straight into the pen. That was lovely work. Just enough pressure. Congratulations to our last competitor for the Australian team getting the gate shut. And we'll have some scores for you shortly.
It's certainly been a very hotly contested first test, hasn't it, Simon? We've had all 4 Australians complete today. We'll have a score for Jim shortly. Unfortunately for the New Zealand team, Scotty Hunter with Lucy had a bit of trouble at the pen, but he still came in with a 58.5. So still, they've had put up some decent runs, the New Zealanders. Pretty tough sheep. They were pretty all consistent around the ground. Once they got to the pen, though, they decided to give a bit of grief.
Yeah, probably some of the best work we've seen all weekend into the Dog Pro so far. They've done an amazing job in keeping them cool, and that's been the secret, hasn't it? They've kept them cool, kept them calm, and managed to manoeuvre around, keep them on the course, which is where the big points get lost.
Oh, without a doubt, and you can certainly see the experience of these handlers. You would expect that these are the 4 top handlers in Australia and also New Zealand. New Zealand aren't going to send out bunnies. It costs too much to send them out.
No, terrific lot of trialling, and it was great to see Jim get the gate shut for Australia. And you know, looking at the way the judges have been scoring it, you'd hope that he would give Australia a little lead going into this. I think the tests are not cumulative; they're individual tests.
Are they? I think they've changed that though. I reckon it's now cumulative.
Oh, is it? Okay, so they might get a little lead coming out of this, but it's certainly not the end of the trial, is it?
Oh, without a doubt. No, we've got another 2 tests to go, and we'll have some scores coming in shortly for Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. For those of you sitting at home, you're probably wondering why it's called the Wayleggo Cup. Well, it was introduced in 1994 by the New Zealand Sheepdog Trial Association, and it was inspired by their then President Tony Shield. The term Wayleggo, it comes from the traditional command, come away and let go, and it's used by musterers to call their dogs back from stock, and it's a fitting symbol for teamwork and obedience. So that is why it is called the Wayleggo Cup. Competition has been running now for a good while. We've had 38 tests. New Zealand are leading in the score though. They've won 22 times. Australia have only won 16, but we are the current holder of the Wayleggo Cup, and we aren't keen to let it go back to New Zealand. The scores are coming in from Jim. I can see that the Australian judge has given Jim a score of 80. Just waiting now for the New Zealand judge's score to come in, and we'll give that to you. Of course, you can follow all the scores here at the Dog Pro Supreme Australian Championship at Stanthorpe by clicking onto the Google sheet. The New Zealand judge gave Jim a score of 79, which gives him a total of 79.5. So after the first test, Australia are leading. They've got a score of 300 compared to New Zealand 285.25. So it certainly is a close contest, and we look forward to bringing you all the action again tomorrow.
Tight at the top, and so it's not a done deal for New Zealander just yet, but there's tons of trialling to come, and hopefully you can tune in tomorrow watching our live streams as we continue with the top 20 and another 2 tests.
Absolutely, and for those of you sitting at home, I think you'd all agree the commentary for this test series from Mr. Simon Leaning from WA has been outstanding. So thank you, Simon, for your insights. We certainly appreciate your insights on this test series.
Thanks, Simone.